And we are live. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to Forever Sports. And we finally have our last Springbok team of 2024. And just the way we started it, we are ending it in many different ways. One of those being with Jordan Henderson being named at 10, but the other one being rotation, building depth, and debuts, because we are set to have our 12th debutant this weekend, with Cameron Harnicorn set to get his first taste of international rugby on Saturday after being named on the bench. And a very interesting side, very good side that has been named. And I like it. I think it's a nice combination of try a couple combinations, but again, in environments which will hopefully suit the players who are coming in that might not have as much experience. And then if things go badly, for example, you've got a lot of your sort of core players coming off the bench. I really don't like the idea of, rotation for the sake of rotation. And I don't think you necessarily build depth by just rotating. Building depth is not just about giving players games for the sake of giving players games. Building depth is about getting players playing consistently with a game plan, for example, with different combinations or slightly tweaked combinations, being able to bring even just one or two players. For example, Jordan Henderson goes and plays 60 minutes with the number one backline of every commas. That's building depth. Building depth is not just throwing together brand new combinations and say, right, off you guys go. They play badly and you go, oh, but it's fine because they got minutes. It's far more intricate than that. So that is the team. And I want to know what you think is the bottom line. What are we thinking? Where are we at with this? Because I really like it, and I think it ticks all the boxes. But I'm interested to see what everybody else has to say. So I'm going to put in a poll in the comments asking, do you like the Springbok team? Simple yes, no answer. And whilst it's a simple yes or no answer, I want to know, if you don't like it, what you don't like about it. Because I hate people who sort of I hate people who just like to complain for the sake of complaining, and then they can't actually justify what they don't like. They just decide they don't like it without any sort of justification. And I'm not saying you can't not like it. I'm not saying you have to like it. But give me a reason. I want to know what you don't like. Because then we can talk about it. And then we can talk about, well, I see what your point is. And maybe it's a very good point. And maybe we could talk about why they potentially haven't gone what that route, or why they maybe should have gone that route. So lots to sort of pick apart when it comes to this side. And we've already got 50 votes coming in. So get those votes in. Please also do like the video. You guys are great ones for watching the video and not liking it. So I'm asking you a very, very simple thing, and that is to please do like the video. And a couple of comments already. Craig Morgan says, great team. Gerard saying, I was expecting Esterhuizen and combo. Lazi says, I would have liked Cam Harnicorn to start and Jasper coming off the bench. That in itself is quite interesting, because we have often seen the debuts coming as starting debuts quite often, for example, especially when there's only one debut. Because similarly with injuries, a lot of it's like, well, kind of you bring on, let them start, and if things are going badly, for example, you can pull them off, as opposed to putting them on. They're suddenly, for example, absolutely nowhere, and you can't make any change. You've made the change, you put it out there, and there you go. That's it. So yeah, it's an interesting one that he has started, because traditionally we've gone the other route. But I think that we wanted to see him, and we are going to see him. That's the main thing. So let's go through it, shall we? Front row, again, in terms of building depth, Johannes Krobler has often started with players around him who are not always the usual starters. So once again, in terms of combinations, Johannes Krobler is starting with Oxenchair, is our starting Lucid, and Thomas Toy, who right now is probably our number one tight end. To be perfectly honest, with the injury to France Malherbe. Yes, Vilcolo started against England, but Thomas Latoya has been around more and played more this year. So basically, that's your two strongest props, your starting props, your first starting props, with Jan Krobloff thrown into that mix. Then you've got Jean-Claude and Franco Mostert. I mean, those two don't really need much experience. Jean-Claude, yes, he's very new for the box setup, but he's played international rugby before. He's a very experienced player. But then again, Albert Lowe getting a start with Siya Kolisi, Jasper Wiese. This is how it is to play with these guys from the start, not just coming off the bench and not just playing with a Marco van Staden and a Kwaka Smith, for example, in a bit more of a makeshift type of situation. Jaden Hendrickson back into the mix and partnering Jordan now, and I'm sure that will make Jordan's life so much easier in terms of having the person inside him who he's played for the entire lives together, really. And I think Jordan Hendrickson is the big experiment for this weekend. He's the big one that we need to try and look at getting the best out of. So you've got to put in a very familiar player inside of him. Not only, for example, does had the play together throughout their life, but they're now starting to actually become a combination at the Sharks. And then you've got Jordan Hendrickson with Damien Delendi inside him and Jesse Creel. And his wings are Kurt Lawrence, Cheds and Colby. So he's now playing in what is inverted commas the strongest backline the Boks have. So once again, it's an environment made for him to thrive. Similarly now, Cameron Honeycomb's going to come off the bench with Malcolm Marx, Gerard Stennekamp, Vincent Koch, Evan Etzebeth, Archie's name. I mean, that was, that's arguably one of our strongest tied fives right now. And he's then going to come and join the likes of a Siya Kolisi or Jasper Wiese or Siya and Albert Lowe or Jasper and Albert Lowe or Jasper and so I mean, he can come on and there's going to be so much experience around him, even not just in the flanks, but with Archie, Eben, Vincent, Gerard Stennekamp, Malcolm Marx. I mean, Gerard's the only one there who hasn't played 30 plus tests. So once again, it's an environment and a team and a situation made for Cameron Honeycomb to thrive in. Not one where he's going to have other people around him second guessing themselves. No, everybody else is settled, which means that Johan Grobelaar, Jordan Hendrickson, Albert Lotus to a lesser extent, but still him, and Cameron Honeycomb can really thrive because they've got the experience around them. And that's what I really like about the building depth. It's not just about playing an A team and a B team. It's about integrating your B team players into the A team in a situation which allows them to play with sort of the usual players that know their role. Let's go through some of the comments, shall we? Because that's why we're here, is to discuss this team. So some of the comments are as follows over here. And Tian says, glad to see Ox is okay. Having Pollard off the bench always makes me feel reassured. Josh was saying, Wales don't stand a chance. Innocent Face said, I thought we could play Moody at outside centre. They already see him as a centre, but they do not give him experience. I think Caden Moody needs to go back at URC level, for example, and start playing at outside centre, because I wasn't particularly impressed with what I saw him with outside centre when he played for the Bulls last season. So I do think he's got a lot of work to do at outside centre, to be honest. But yeah, again, if they do see him as an outside centre, then when are they going to give him the chance? But yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, Jesse Field's now going to play 2. Like kind of unplayed 1. I think that's fine, to be honest. Again, the main thing for this week, this end of alternation series, which what Rassie Erasmus said, was winning. Those first 2 games was all about winning, and now you want to go end the game on a good note as well. Kirk saying, I would have loved to see Marnie again at 10 with Jordan Henderson covering at fullback. And goal kicking would have been fun to see that. Might yet see that next year. Pete says, we all know that Billy will be given 100 tests, and therefore I can't see why Rassie doesn't get him one close to that 100 while playing a game as guaranteed to win. Well, we do have at least, I think, 2 tests against Italy next year, and I think another test potentially against a potential second tier 2 nation. So I personally think that they'll try and see where that Bloemfontein test is going to be next year, and I think Billy will make us have his 100 test there. And then it'll be interesting to see after this how much they do phase him out, or where they do keep him in and around the squad, to be honest. And Sean's saying, Rassie looking to play the Tony Brown game fast and furious. Daniel saying, looking forward to seeing Honeycomb turning it up against Wales. Gradwell with no complaints. Sam saying, great team. I'd have liked to see Honeycomb start with Wiese on bench. Also good to see Grobelaar starting. Awesome bench, though. A couple other comments. Rainbow Man saying, interested, what do you guys think the score is going to be? Well, we can do a couple of early score predictions. Joshua reckons that's going to be by 30 points. Pete says, Jaden Henderson had a shocker against Scotland. Scotland needs to have a good game. He did have a struggle against Scotland. But we also mustn't have, and I got a lot of abuse for it. I got told, you just love him, whatever. No, I just thought he was very, very good against Argentina a month before that. And we must be careful with our recency bias, because we often do that. A player has a bad game, and that's our only opinion of them. And we forget everything that's happened. This has been a long international season. We have been going since June. So I'm a big Jaden Henderson fan. I'm not gonna deny it. I think he's absolutely class. I think he did struggle against Scotland, which he's allowed to do. You're allowed to have bad games, and now he needs to step up. But I'm very excited to see how that combination, the brother combination, does go. It's a very cool concept. And if it works, it'll be quite a cool thing to see on the international level. So, can't say, hoping to see a big performance out of Klein and a better performance out of Mostert. Good to see our lock death back to proper quality all round. I agree. Guys saying glad to see Honeycomb in the team. I'd have loved to see Volko Low been given another chance. Whilst Greg said that great side, Rassie is a visionary. Can't wait to see the blend of new and old smashing it up. Go boys. Yeah, I think I like the fact that he's resisted the temptation to just go wholesale changes. I don't think that you achieve that much from that, to be honest. I don't think it's... I personally don't think that that's how you build appropriate depth. I really don't like it when teams just wholesale change and then they get surprised and it's a very disjointed performance and they kind of walk off feeling like, oh, I don't really feel I played well today. And they're like, no, but guys, it's fine because you were just joining. You have to sit there making excuses for your performance. Whereas now, you create a situation and basically you then look at that team and you say, right, Jan Krobelaar, Alec Lowe, Jordan Hendricks as sort of the more inexperienced players in the starting lineup. There's no excuse for you guys not to have played well. In terms of, you can't use the excuse that it was disjointed because, other people were finding their way. So similarly, when Cameron Honeycomb comes on, you can't sit there and say, right, well, there were other players who didn't know what was going on around you, so it's okay. No, he's going to be in a situation which is prime for him to slot in. So now it's about how do you slot in to this team? Not just how do you play at international rugby, how do you slot into our best team? If it's a World Cup final tomorrow, you find yourself in this team, how do you cope? How do you slot in? How do you work with him? Do you gel with him? Can you gel with him? Do you know what your role is? Can you do your role properly? Can you add value to this team, our almost strongest team? And I think that is such an important way of looking at it in terms of building that depth, because there's no excuses otherwise. It's also very interesting from a conditions point of view because there will be no wind. The roof is set to be closed. They posted a video today that's actually snowing over there in Wales. Very cool video of Jaden Hendricks, as you can imagine, with all their hair, having snow all over it. So conditions will be good for hopefully some running rugby. James says 70 plus points win for South Africa, or could they equal their most ever they got against Wales, which was 96 points in 1998. So Peter, as far as I understand, the roof will be closed. Simon Gilles says if SA Bokke will beat Wales on Saturday, score 38 points to 12. Benjamin saying, you think Sia will go the full 80? Could go the full 80. I did hear Rassie previously say Cameron Honeycomb could play at 6, and I personally think Marco van Staden got a chance at 6, didn't really impress. A lot of talk about the fact, is he, really genuinely the best option at 6? If Cameron Honeycomb comes onto this field and has a really good game in the number 6 jersey, then all of a sudden you can sit there and say, right, it's Sia and Cameron Honeycomb. Cameron Honeycomb being like 21 years old. It's Peter Shep-the-Toy and then Ben Jason Dixon, Albert Lowe and Ben Jason Dixon, putting the two options that have played this year. Ben Jason Dixon, I think, is 26, 27. Albert Lowe is about 24, 25. Cool. Long-term success option sorted. Jasper V said 8. You've got Cocker Smith as another option, but then you've got Evan Ross and a Cameron Honeycomb, for example, potentially, or Pepsi Buthelezi, who's also a potential option at 6. You've got really good youngsters who kind of long-term, you can kind of see how that goes through. Not to say we need to bin Marco van Staden, he's not old, by the way, but it's all about players who take their chance. Albert Lowe took his chance. Ben Jason Dixon didn't take his chance. And that's why Albert Lowe's in the tour and Ben Jason Dixon's not. And I think Jason Dixon will be back, and I think he will play for the Boks again. But it's just about stepping up at the right opportunities to elevate yourself up in that list. Jacques says Honeycomb will be Bok number 51 playing this year. Louis says Hendricks at 9 could be a weakness. Nah, I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be all good. I'll mention Oxford bench and Gerard Stennekamp start just for this test. Again, why? If Gerard Stennekamp is growing into his role of coming off the bench and being that impact player, then let's keep it like that. For example, Oxenchair is a much better starter. And again, Oxenchair next to Johan Krobelaar. So Johan Krobelaar is going to have Oxenchair next to him and Thomas Toy on the other side. That kind of experience, not as opposed to Oxenchair or Johan Krobelaar next to Gerard Stennekamp, who we know is very, very well. but is not as settled in international rugby as an Oxen chair potentially is. It's also about combinations. You want to see how Ox goes with Thomas Toy, who's now a second choice, potentially long-term successor for France Maherba. So how do those two work as a combination? You know, you also sometimes, for example, John Human's a big fan of looking at the different heights and kind of like leveling that front row in terms of a taller front row or a shorter front row. So there's a lot more that goes to it, to be honest. How they're going to scrum with John Klein and Franco Mostert behind them versus now Gerard Stenenkamp getting the chance to scrum with a Arcus Neyman and Eben Etzebeth behind them. So there's a lot more to go that goes into it than just Gerard will start ahead of Ox and Chair. It's all about those different combinations and the likes of that. Pete says, looking forward to seeing Franco get back to where he was a year ago. Looked lost in the first start since injury. Completely understandable, but still hoping he gains the confidence and fitness back. Yeah, I have got zero doubt about Franco Mostert. He looked like a guy who hadn't played rugby in 2 to 3 months. And we've also got such a high standard we hold Franco Mostert to because he just doesn't have a bad game necessarily. You know, he's such a consistent performer at all times. But he did look like somebody who was a little bit off the pace. He would have now had another week of training, for example, and I think he'll have a good game. I'm calling it now. I think he'll have a strong game on Saturday. I really hope he does. I'm also really keen to see how Jean Klein goes. Ranger says, I like any team in mind doesn't have Monty Liebach, although his cross-kick to Colby this weekend was class. Well, there we go. You kind of sort of summed up that there is value in it by saying that you don't want him there. But he'll be back. He'll play more games for the box. If you guys think that Monty Liebach's career is done, then I think you haven't been paying attention to what Rassie Erasmus has been saying, particularly in the last few days. And Elizabeth says, is there more players that are going to be blooded next year, or is he done? Well, there could be more players. I mean, you never know. For example, there's talk about Sinea Nahamba, who hasn't played. They're big fans of Henk van Wyk. He's not played a lot this year and hasn't been able to get himself into the Bok radar, but Rassie Erasmus always refers to him as one of the injured players, or he did in the June July series, for example. He said, yeah, we've got a lot of injured players, you know, something like a Henk van Wyk. So they see him as part of that project 2027. So I think a Henk van Wyk is someone who I don't think is far away from a debut. Selena Hammer maybe an outside chance really of potentially coming back into the mix here. I do say back because he was in the mix. He has been in alignment camps and the likes. I think another tight end could be blooded in the next couple of years, whether it's Asenate and Tlabekanya or Nedling for sure. Both of them have been in alignment camps and the likes. And so yeah, maybe a couple, but I mean the fact that we've got 51 players that we've used this year, 12 debuts. Anyone who says that we're not building and we're not, you know, blooding youth and stuff like that, again, it's just not paying attention because we really are. So at the moment, we're sitting on 262 votes and 93% of people saying that they like the team. So those who are saying no, who would you change? What changes would we make to this team? And Pomelo says, who do you think took his chance this year from the new blood? Albert Lowe. Well, let's look at this team. Albert Lowe wasn't in the mix at all when we named our first squad, and he's now starting this weekend. And he started because maybe Peter Steph Toy is injured, but it's only Peter Steph Toy is injured in the number 7 jersey. He's taken his chance. Gerard Stenenkamp maybe had a poor game last week, but he's taken his chance. Look how he's elevated himself to the number that reserve. Lou said, well, he's basically played there. He played against Ireland, against New Zealand, so he's taken his chances this year. Abdel Fassi, he's really taken his chance this year. I mean, a year ago he wasn't in the mix, and now he's like currently nailed on starter. We always keep forgetting that Damien Williams is kind of in the wings, but you can't just talk about, oh yeah, next year Damien Williams will be back, therefore, because Damien Williams didn't play a single game for the Boks this year. Next year, touch wood, nothing happens, but there will be other players who will also be injured, and you know you have to look at other options there. So those three, for example, if you look at that team, for me, have really taken their chances. I felt desperately sorry for Edel van der Merwe, who had a man of the match performance on debut and then got injured and kind of fell out by the wayside. And I think I was actually probably expecting to see him in the end of year tour until Maximo Pimpy started playing so well. And we kind of got to a situation where you're like, well, why would you drop him? He's still performing at such a high level. I was almost a little bit surprised that Edel van der Merwe didn't get the nod ahead of Kane and Moody. on form, but again, they go back to the tried and tested and stuff. I think that Ruan Fenter, very, very much on their radar in terms of players who have come through. Didn't necessarily get the chance to come over, but I do think that he is very much on their radar from what you hear, when they talk about it. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Well, maybe we'll do a video on that in terms of the winners and losers of the box season in 2024. We have got our dedicated Forever Box channel, and those are the kind of conversations we can kind of have on the Rassie report, which is what we do on Wednesdays, where we talk about the current Rassie Erasmus conundrums and the like of that. And so that's there's a lot to talk about. We also obviously got our analysis show, which we launched on Monday, and I'm going to share a video in the comments, which is the team profiles, which now go on our Forever Box channel. We do have, as I said, we've got that dedicated Springbok channel all for South Africa content, so you can go and check that out. We've got the team profiles over there. You can go see exactly how big Cameron Hanekom is, for example, and how young and old everybody is. Check the team profile. Yeah. Right, so there you can go over to that Favorite Box channel, and please do give it a drop it a subscribe. We only created it because you guys kept saying that you want a one-stop destination of Springbok content. Andrea says, very disappointed for not seeing Cameron Hanekom. I really hope you're going to give the other chance, but I'm trusting the coaches. My man, he's there. Let's try like there. Fortunately, I can't put this. I can't put myself in front of this graphic. Maybe I can actually. No, I don't think I can actually. But yeah, so he is there in front of the 21 jersey. That is Mr. Cameron Hanekom. So he's there. So I'm not quite sure what team you're looking at, but he is there. SVE says Stenekam looked like he was struggling in the scrum against England. Wonder what was going on there. Yeah, I think he didn't look like his characteristic best. He has had some very good games though, so I do think he'll respond quite well and he'll be absolutely fine, given the fact that he decimated the Irish front row. Paul says, good to give EPSF Toy a well-deserved rest. Well, he's actually got a knock, so he's actually returned with a knock. Excited for Cameron, says challenge life. And Andrew says, also stoked for Cameron Hanekom. I expected him to put his hand up and make difficult selections, even for Rassie. Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, This is kind of the challenge that I think every single time they change, they give a debut and the like. The challenge for that player is to give the box a headache. Say to Rassie Erasmus, lol, you thought that player's there. No. So BITDEFENDER, for example, his challenge was to say, here we go. You can retire Villaroo because you've got your other fullback option to compete with Damian Willemse. His challenge now is to keep Damian Willemse at back, which he won't do initially because, look at what Damian Willemse has done in Springbok jersey recently. If Damian Willemse was fit tomorrow, I'll start him straight back in at 15. He's deserved that. But Rassie, what he's done this year is he said, listen, Damian, that's fine. You have a bad game, and I'm here. And Rassie will know that. So similarly, for example, when Andre Esteze has a game against Scotland, you go, ooh, jeepers, what a game from him. Damien de Linde needs to be careful. And then you look at what Damien de Linde does last week, and you go, yeah, no, well, there we go. And that's kind of what you want. You want there to be such a little difference between the two players vying for that jersey, that constant competition for that jersey. I really want to see a big game out of Jean Clay. Not that anyone's ever going to bench Eben Etzebeth, but to know that we've got a proper, genuine number 4 option, because Solomon Rutt hasn't really taken his chances that he's had in the number 4 jersey so far this year. And I think that, you talk about players you have, but he's probably one who's had a lot of chances this year, but hasn't really taken it to the full extent. So that's always an interesting position in terms of the long-term success for Eben Etzebeth, because, he's currently the record capped player, and he's extending that record every single time he comes off the bench. But he's not going to be able to play forever. A couple of interesting notes, by the way, on that. In terms of our record against Wales, we have played 42, lost 7, and drawn 1. We have an 80.9% win percentage against Wales. In terms of a couple of different notes, it'll be the 101st match against on British and Irish Lions soil, by the way, since 1906. The Springboks' try against England Saturday was the 50th of the season, the most the Boks have scored in a non-Rugby World Cup season since 1997, when 74 tries were scored in 13 tests. We're not going to break that, but interesting. That stat tells you so much about the evolution of the Boks. We're scoring more tries. Unfortunately, we probably have conceded more this year than we probably did a year ago. But new defense coach, new system, is kind of probably to be expected. Another one is over here. Should the Springboks win, it will be their 55th in 78 matches since Rassie Erasmus returned with a shocking number in 2018 for a winning percentage of 70.5% over the past 7 seasons. Obviously nothing in 2020, completing the raising of the team's historic winning records by more than 1 whole percentage. So before Rassie Erasmus arrived, the Springbok winning percentage was 62.4%. 47%, it is now up to 63.60%. How's that, by the way? And there have been hundreds. I mean, this is the 101st Springbok game on British and Irish Lions territory. So that means that's not including any games on South Africa territory, anything in South America, anything in mainland Europe, anything in Oceania and the likes of that. So to think of how many hundreds and hundreds of Springbok games there are out there, to be able to lift the entire overall winning percentage by an entire percent shows you how good we've been since Rassie Erasmus has come back. Should the Springboks win, it'll be their 11th victory from 13 matches in the year for a winning percentage of 84.6%, repeating the feat of 2023 and the highest seasonal percentage achieved since 1998, when 11 of 12 matches were won for a percentage of 91.7%. That's what I'm saying. This is the new dominant era of the Boks at the moment. And as mentioned, if we were to win this game or draw this game, then it'll be our first undefeated Northern Hemisphere tour since 2013. So lots and lots of records on the line, and we're playing against the Welsh side we're expecting to beat. And with that team, it should be a pretty straightforward victory as far as I'm concerned. I think that we should have no issue whatsoever getting over the line and hopefully putting in quite a big performance, especially given the fact that we have, got that balance between experience and youth. So there are a couple of new players, but in the end, so much experience around them means we should be able to put in a lot of points. If I'm Warren Gatland, I'm looking at that going, oh goodness me, this is going to be a long day in the afternoon in the office over at the Millennium. I suppose it's actually in the evening, to be fair. It's Hoppers 5 kickoff for their time, Hoppers 7 our time. 1940 is the magic number for Saturday. We're going to wrap up there. People, thank you very much for joining me, and we will be looking at this squad throughout the week. We will also have audio coming from Rassie Erasmus about why he selected this team and what his thoughts are on the game this weekend. My last request as you are leaving is please do like the video. If you are new, please do subscribe to the channel and go and check out Forever Box. It's got the team profiles with all the sizes, ages, etc. of the teams, and you can give some extra info about some of the players like Cameron Harnicom and the likes. So earlier we asked, do you like the Springbok team? 92% saying yes, and we are very generally very happy to see the team that has been selected. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys all very soon. Smash like the video on the way out, and